I lit the match and watched the corner of the photo album curl like a dying leaf. The flames licking up the edges of my mother-in-law's smug grin from our wedding day. They'd left me behind in this godforsaken house, whispering about my instability like I was some fragile china doll they'd rather shatter than pack. But as the fire danced across the pages of their curated lies, I whispered back to the empty room, "Welcome home. You bastards, I've got a bonfire waiting just for you." That was the moment I crossed the line. Or maybe I'd been towing it for years. Ever since the day I signed my life away for a secret that wasn't mine to keep. My name's Lucy Harlan, and if you're reading this, you're probably judging me already.
Good.
That's the point. This isn't a fairy tale redemption arc. It's the kind of story that gets told in hushed tones at Thanksgiving dinners. The one where the crazy wife finally snaps, and no one can quite decide if she's the villain or the victim. We're talking modern-day America. The sprawl of Elmwood Heights in upstate New York, where picket fences hide more skeletons than a graveyard. Subdivisions with HOA rules stricter than the Ten Commandments. And families like the Harlans, old money mixed with new entitlement, who'd sell their own blood for a better zip code. It started 15 years ago, back when I was 22 and fresh out of community college with a nursing degree and dreams bigger than the Adirondacks. I met Tom at a dive bar in Syracuse. The kind with neon signs buzzing like angry hornets and pool tables scarred from too many lost bets. He was charming in that all-American way, broad shoulders from high school football, a jawline that could cut glass, and eyes that promised forever without ever saying the word. We married 6 months later in a shotgun courthouse ceremony. Me in a thrift store sundress. Him in khakis that still smelled like his daddy's cigar smoke. The Harlans tolerated me at first. Tom's mom, Evelyn, with her pearl necklaces and passive-aggressive sighs, called me the little nurse like it was a pet name instead of a dig. His dad, Richard, barely grunted hello, too busy nursing his third scotch of the evening. And then there was Aunt Clara, Tom's spinster aunt, the family wild card, who'd eye me like I was a puzzle she couldn't be bothered to solve. They lived in a McMansion on the hill, the kind with a 3-car garage and a wine cellar that doubled as a panic room. I was the outsider, the girl from the trailer park who'd clawed her way into respectability. But I loved Tom fierce, the way you love your first real shot at something better. So I swallowed the barbs and played the part. The betrayal hit like a freight train on a foggy morning, the kind that derails everything before you even hear the whistle. It was 2 years into the marriage. Tom's sister Becca fresh out of law school and riding high on daddy's connections. Becca was the golden child, sharp as a tack, with cheekbones that could launch 1,000 Instagram likes. But she had a habit of bending rules until they snapped. That summer, she got tangled in a bad deal, cooking the books for a shady real estate developer, siphoning funds meant for low-income housing projects. It was embezzlement, plain and simple, the kind that could have landed her in federal prison for a decade. Richard found out first.
Panicked.
He called a family summit in their mahogany-paneled study, the air thick with cigar haze and desperation. Tom was there, of course, loyal son that he was. Evelyn paced like a caged panther, muttering about family legacy. And me, I was downstairs in the kitchen, scrubbing pots from the dinner I'd slaved over, oblivious until Tom dragged me upstairs by the wrist, his grip bruising but his voice pleading. "Lucy, we need you," he said, eyes wide like a kicked puppy. They laid it out in pieces. Becca's mess, the audit looming, the feds sniffing around. Richard had a plan: bury the evidence, pin a chunk of it on a disgruntled employee who'd conveniently quit months ago. but they needed a patsy for the nursing home angle. Something to muddy the waters.
See?
I'd been working part-time at Shady Pines, the elder care facility funded by those same projects. A few missing checks. Forged signatures. It could have looked like I'd dipped into the till for my trailer trash habits. I laughed at first, thought it was a joke. "You're insane," I spat, pulling away from Tom. But Evelyn stepped in, her voice honey over venom. "Think of the family."
Dear.
Think of Tom. Prison would ruin Becca. And then what? Our name dragged through the mud? You'd be ruining us all. Richard dangled the carrot. "Pay off my student loans. A down payment on a house in Elmwood."
And Tom. God.
Tom knelt right there on the Persian rug, tears streaking his perfect face. "I can't lose her."
Luce. Please.
For us. I took the fall. Not the whole thing. Becca's still got a slap on the wrist. A deferred prosecution thanks to Richard's golf buddies in Albany, but enough to make it stick. I pled guilty to misdemeanor theft. Served 6 months probation. Lost my nursing license. The headlines in the local rag called it "Insider Job at Shady Pines," and overnight, I went from aspiring RN to pariah. Job offers dried up. Neighbors crossed the street. Tom held me at night, whispering apologies that tasted like ash. But he never once told his family to back off. "It's for the best," he'd say. Like burying your soul alive was just another Tuesday. We moved to our own place after that, a starter home on the edge of Elmwood, with creaky floors and a yard that flooded every spring. I pivoted to medical billing from home, staring at spreadsheets until my eyes bled, while Tom climbed the corporate ladder at his dad's firm. The Harlans acted like it never happened. Christmas dinners where Evelyn passed the mashed potatoes with a wink, as if I'd just had a little mishap. Becca sent thank you cards with passive-aggressive quotes about sisterhood. And Clara? She watched. Always watching. Her lips curled in something that wasn't quite a smile. Years ground on like gravel under tires. I built a life around the lie. PDA meetings where I volunteered too much to prove I wasn't that woman. Book club brunches dissecting thrillers about wronged wives while I smiled through gritted teeth. Tom and I had Lily, our miracle girl, born with colic and curls that framed her cherub face like a halo. She was the glue, the reason I didn't torch it all sooner. But resentment festers, doesn't it? It starts as a whisper in your gut, then blooms into a roar that drowns out lullabies. The trip was the final straw, the betrayal that peeled back the scab and let the infection rage. It was supposed to be the Harlan family reunion cruise, Alaska fjords, all-inclusive buffets. A week of bonding to celebrate Richard's 65th. Evelyn planned it for months, emails flying with itineraries and packing lists. CCNG, everyone but me.
Oh.
"Lucy, dear," she cooed over speakerphone one night. Tom conveniently in the shower. "It's just family. You know, blood. With your schedule, it might be too much." My schedule, chasing Lily's school deadlines while Tom golfed with clients. Becca chimed in, her lawyer voice smooth as silk. "Plus, after everything, it'd be awkward." For Lily's sake, Tom came out dripping, towel slung low, and I handed him the phone. He listened, face paling, then muttered,
"Mom."
"That's not," but Evelyn steamrolled. "Thomas, we're boarding in Seattle. Tickets are non-refundable. Lucy understands family obligations." He hung up, pulled me close.
"Babe.
"I'll stay. We can do our own thing."
Lies.
By morning, his suitcase was packed, Lily bundled in with promises of glaciers and grizzlies. "It's just a week," he said, kissing my forehead like I was a child who'd skinned her knee. For the memories. They left at dawn. The airport shuttle idling like a getaway car. I waved from the porch, Lily's tiny hand flapping beside mine, her eyes wide with excitement she didn't understand. The house echoed after they drove off. Too big. Too empty. The fridge humming like a dirge. That's when the rage hit. Pure and volcanic. Bubbling up from the pit where I'd buried that probation scar. I poured a glass of Evelyn's special reserve she'd left behind once, Pinot Noir that tasted like regret, and scrolled through the group chat. Photos already. Becca in a captain's hat. Tom hoisting Lily onto his shoulders. Richard toasting with a tumbler that screamed old money. Captions like Harlan Adventures. No tag for me. I didn't cry. I planned. First, the little things. Canceled the mail hold. Let the bills pile like accusations. Then deeper cuts. I knew their secrets. After all, the ones they'd trusted me to keep. Evelyn's charity fund, that was really a slush for Richard's mistresses. Becca's affair with her married boss. Texts I'd glimpsed on Tom's phone during a family poker night. And Clara.
Oh.
Clara was the wild card. She'd cornered me once. 3 Thanksgivings back. In the powder room with its gilt mirrors and potpourri that smelled like faded glory. "You think you're the only one who took a fall for the circus?" she'd hissed. Breath sour with gin. Richard's not Tom's father. Ask him about the summer of '82. She'd laughed. A bark that echoed off the tiles. Then straightened her brooch and floated back to the turkey like nothing happened. I didn't ask Tom. Buried secrets have a way of rotting if you dig too soon.
But now?
Now they were fair game. I started with the photos, albums, in the attic, digitized on hard drives. The Harlan legacy in crisp 4K. One by one, I fed them to the shredder. They were a symphony of satisfaction. Then the homecoming sabotage. I'd researched the crew's schedule. Knew their flight landed at LaGuardia at 6 p.m. sharp on Sunday. The house would be spotless when they left. Pristine as a hotel room. By return, it'd be a husk, furniture rearranged into mazes of spite. Closets emptied into the yard like a bizarre yard sale. And the piece de resistance. Every lock changed. The spare keys melted in a backyard fire pit I dug that first afternoon alone. But revenge isn't just destruction, it's revelation. I drafted the letters next. Anonymous tips sealed in manila envelopes. One to the DA's office, detailing Becca's embezzlement with timestamps I'd memorized from that long-ago night. Another to Richard's board. CC&G the mistresses with Polaroids I'd snapped at the country club. For Evelyn. A care package, printouts of her Amazon history. The discreet toys ordered to a P.O. box. Labeled for the woman who has everything. And Tom? His would wait. Slipped under the door like a divorce decree. But laced with the truth about Lily's conception. Wait. No. That was too cruel. Or was it? The tests I'd hidden. The ones showing discrepancies in the paternity that Clara's whisper had ignited. Doubt crept in as the days blurred. Lily's empty room mocked me. Her stuffed bear slumped in the crib like a sentinel. Was this strength or madness? The neighbors peeked through blinds. Elmwood's gossip mill grinding. Poor Lucy. Abandoned again. I laughed it off at the grocery store, loading up on charcoal and trash bags. But inside, the split was forming, the part of me that wanted to burn it down versus the mother who craved bedtime stories. Tom's text trickled in, "Miss you, babe. Lily says hi." heart emojis that felt like punches. I replied with sunny banalities, all while the bonfire in my chest grew. By Thursday, the plan evolved. Destruction alone was petty. I needed them to feel the weight, the isolation I'd carried for years. I invited Clara over, neutral ground, coffee at the diner on Route 5, where the pie was greasy and the booths smelled like vinyl and regret.
She showed.
Surprisingly, in a cardigan that screamed 1950s librarian, her eyes sharp behind bifocals. "You look like hell, girl," she said,
No preambel.
stirring her black coffee with a spoon that clinked like judgment. I laid it out, voice steady as I could manage, the trip snub, the buried fall, the rage uncoiling. She listened, nodding like she'd heard this confessional 100 times. When I finished, she leaned back, lit a cigarette despite the no smoking sign. Old habits die hard. Knew you'd snap eventually. Harlan's break, people like cheap twigs. Then, the bomb. Richard ain't the devil you think. That summer '82, Tom's real dad was my brother. Passed and numb. Evelyn's fling. Richard's revenge. He married her anyway, raised Tom as his. But Becca, she's his blood.
All right.
And you took the hit for a girl who ain't even sorry. My coffee turned to acid in my gut. Why tell me now? She shrugged, exhaling smoke rings that curled like nooses. Because blood's thicker than ink. But spite's eternal. Do what you gotta. Just don't expect a parade. She left a 20 on the table and vanished into the rain, leaving me with a puzzle piece that didn't fit. If the family's lies ran deeper, was my revenge justice or just another layer? Friday night. The storm rolled in, thunder that shook the foundations, lightning etching the sky like veins. I sat at the kitchen island, laptop open to flight trackers, the cursor blinking over send. The letters were queued, anonymous email drafts laced with evidence. One click, and the Harlan empire cracked. But Lily's drawing taped to the fridge, a crayon family with stick figure me holding hands with ghosts, stayed my finger. What if this scarred her more than the silence? Tom's voicemail from the ship. Luce, something's wrong with the connection up here. Call me. Static. Then silence. I called, but not him. The locksmith first, new deadbolts installed by midnight, gleaming like accusations. Then the realtor, a quick listing for the house, motivated seller, immediate occupancy. By dawn, the yard was a war zone of boxed relics, Evelyn's china, Richard's golf clubs, Becca's law tomes, all shrink-wrapped and curbside, free for the taking. The fire pit smoldered with ash from the photos, the air acrid with closure. Saturday, I drove to Syracuse, Lily's absence a hollow in the passenger seat. I checked into a motel off the interstate, the kind with vibrating beds and walls thin as paper. Sleep came in fits, dreams of fjords turning to quicksand, Tom's face melting into Evelyn's. Woke to a text from an unknown number, Clara here. Don't burn the whole bridge.
Kid.
Some fires can't be put out. Cryptic as hell. But it lit a fuse. I hit send on the emails at noon, the whoosh a guillotine drop. Then, the twist I hadn't planned, a call to Tom's cell. Voicemail only. Hey.
Sailor.
Hope the glaciers are cold. When you get home, you'll find the locks changed and the truth unlocked. I took your fall once. Never again.
Love.
The little nurse. The flight home loomed like Judgment Day. I imagine their faces at touchdown, phones buzzing with notifications. Evelyn's pearls clutched like rosaries. Would Tom rage? Beg? Becca lie up on the tarmac? The drive back to Elmwood was a blur. Rain sheeting the windshield, wipers slapping rhythm like a heartbeat. Pulled into the driveway at 5:45 p.m. The house dark, a silhouette against the storm. No one home yet. I waited in the idling car. Engines hummed, drowning the thunder. A bottle of bourbon pilfered from Richard's stash warming my lap. Headlights pierced the downpour at 6:12. The rental van, oversized for luggage and lies, splashed to a halt. Doors flew open. Tom first, jacket slick, eyes scanning frantic. Lily tumbling out, rain-matted curls, calling mommy before spotting the stranger in the front seat. Evelyn behind, umbrella snapping like a whip, Richard hauling suitcases with grunts of effort. Becca last, phone glued to her ear, already mid-diatribe. They froze at the curb, staring at the barricade of boxes, the new lock glinting under the porch light. Tom's voice cracked the air. Lucy? What the hell? I stepped out, bourbon in hand, rain soaking my shirt to transparency. No dramatic monologue, just the keys jangling from my pocket, new ones, mine alone. Welcome home, I said, voice steady as the eye of the hurricane. Trip was everything you hoped. Evelyn lunged forward, pearls swinging. You ungrateful little. But Tom grabbed her arm, his face a map of betrayals geography. Lily wailed, caught between worlds. And that's when the split hit, the readers in your head dividing. Was I the monster for weaponizing a child's confusion? Or the saint for finally exhaling? Becca shoved past, pounding the door. Open up. This is insane. Her phone slipped. Screen glowing with the email I'd sent, her boss's wife CC'd. The affair immortalized. Richard's color drained, fumbling for his own device. The board summons pinging like funeral bells. Evelyn whirled on me, eyes wild. You did this? After everything we did for you? Everything you did to me, I corrected, tossing the bourbon bottle into the bushes. It shattered, shards catching lightning like stars. Tom stepped closer, hands raised like I was a spooked horse.
Luce, talk to me.
We can fix this. His voice, that same pleading timbre from the study all those years ago. But Clara's words echoed, spite's eternal. The confrontation stretched, Rain a relentless jury. Lily clung to Tom's leg, her sobs the only innocent note in the cacophony. Becca screamed about lawsuits. Richard muttered about bailouts. Evelyn dissolved into theatrical tears. And me?
I stood firm.
The patsy no more. Doling out truths like rations, the paternity whisper, the slush funds, the trip that crowned it all. Tom's face crumpled at the DNA mention. Had he known? Suspected? The ambiguity hung, thick as the storm. Forcing the divide. Was his ignorance bliss or complicity? Then, the twist. The one that'd have you debating over beers. Clara's sedan crested the hill, headlights cutting the chaos like a deus ex machina. She parked crooked, emerged with an envelope thicker than a Bible, documents, yellowed and notarized. Figured you'd need backup, she called, voice carrying over the din. Handed it to Tom first. Her nephew by blood, if not by name. Inside, proof of the 82 affair. Evelyn's signature on a hush-money check to Clara's brother. And, buried deepest, a confession from Richard, admitting he'd orchestrated my fall not just for Becca, but to test my loyalty. A Harlan weeds out the weak, it read, in his looping script. The family imploded. Evelyn snatched the papers, shredding them in frenzy. But Tom held the originals, his shoulders slumping under the weight.
Dad.
The word hung,
Accusatory.
paternal bond fraying like old rope. Becca backed away, alliances shifting, while Lily buried her face in my skirt, mine, not theirs. Clara lit another smoke, watching the unraveling with detached glee. Told you, Lucy. Spite's the great equalizer. In the end, it wasn't triumph or tragedy, but the gray dawn that follows a bender. Tom begged to come inside, just him and Lily, promising divorce from the clan, a fresh start in some nowhere town. I hesitated, the new key cold in my palm. Evelyn railed about disownment, Richard about legacies lost, Becca about restraining orders. But as sirens wailed distant, cops for the noise, or feds for the tips, I made the call. Open the door. Let Lily tumble in, her warmth thawing the ice in my veins. Tom followed.
Tentative.
The others barred like ghosts at the feast. We didn't speak that night, just huddled under quilts as the storm broke. Morning brought coffee and Clara's parting shot. Don't thank me. I just hate losing more than I hate them. The Harlan scattered, Evelyn to a hotel, Richard to lawyers, Becca to damage control. Tom and I, we listed the house that week, packed Lily's bears and my nursing textbooks, headed west toward California sun and second chances. Or was it exile? The emails sparked investigations, headlines that blurred victims and villains. Some called me heroine, others harpy.
Me?
I call it survival, the kind that leaves scars you wear like badges. But late at night, when Tom's snores rumble soft and Lily's breaths even out, I wonder, did I avenge or just perpetuate the cycle? The revenge tasted sweet, but the aftertaste? That's the controversy, the hook that won't let go. Because in America, land of the free and home of the damned, no one's ever fully right. Or wrong. I woke to the sound of Lily giggling at cartoons, the motel TV flickering blue in the pre-dawn gloom. But my mind was already miles ahead, replaying the curbside apocalypse like a bad loop on VHS. Tom stirred beside me, his arm slung heavy across my waist, a habit from better days that now felt like chains disguised as comfort. We'd driven through the night after the locksmith, the rain a relentless companion, pulling into this Fleabag off I-90 just as the sky lightened to bruise purple. Temporary, he'd murmured, zipping Lily into her unicorn pajamas.
Temporary.
The word mocked me, same as for the family all those years back. Elmwood was behind us now, but the Harlan stench clung like wet dog. My phone burner, prepaid from a gas station in Scranton, buzzed with alerts I'd set up under aliases, news feeds,
Court dockets.
social media scrapes. The emails had landed like napalm. Becca's affair splashed across the Post-Standard's gossip column by midnight. Local litigator's steamy scandal, wife or client. Her firm statement was a masterpiece of legalese. But the comments? Vicious. The internet's coliseum roaring for blood. Richard's board meeting leaked via a Junior XX TikTok, grainy video of him stammering through excuses. Ty Askew. Face the color of spoiled milk. Evelyn? Her charity gala tomorrow night was trending for all the wrong reasons. Screenshots of her Amazon indiscretions anonymized but unmistakable. Hashtags like pearls and perils flying faster than her Botox could smooth. I slipped from bed, padding to the bathroom mirror cracked like a premonition. 37 stared back, Lines etched deeper than last week. Eyes hollow from the vigil. The fall for Becca had aged me a decade. This was rebirth or ruin, depending on the angle. Tom's phone charged on the sink, his real one, left in the van's glove box like contraband. I resisted scrolling, but temptation won. Texts from Evelyn. Thomas. Fix this. Your father's ruined. From Becca. Did you know? And one from Clara. Time-stamped 3 a.m. Check the glove box. Insurance. Curiosity clawed. I crept out. Lily's snores a lullaby, and rummaged the van under sodium lamps that buzzed like interrogators. Envelope. Unmarked. Thick as before. Inside, a flash drive and a note in Clara's spidery hand. Copies for the road. Burn if you must. Or build. The drive hummed to life in the motel's ancient laptop. Folders blooming like digital weeds. Evelyn's financials. Siphoned from Richard's safe years ago. Becca's emails to her boss. Explicit enough to curl toes. And a video file labeled study_08. Heart hammering. I clicked. Grainy footage. Security cam from the Harlan study that fateful night. Me. Young and wide-eyed. Signing the plea docs under Richard's looming shadow. Tom's voice off screen.
Pleading, Luce.
Please. But then, twist of the knife, Evelyn's whisper to Richard as I left the room. Defeated. She'll do. Weak ones always break clean. And Tom? He nodded. Just once. Before turning away. Complicity. Captured in pixels. I slammed the laptop shut.
Bileresin.
All these years, I'd romanticized his tears as solidarity.
Now?
Accomplice. Back inside. Tom was up, brewing Folgers in the mister.
Coffee that wheezed like an asthmatic.
Morning. Beautiful. His smile tentative. Testing waters. Lily bounded over, demanding pancakes we couldn't afford. I forced normalcy, syrup from packets. Laughter at her syrup mustache, but the video looped in my head, fueling the fire I'd thought banked. We need to talk, I said finally, as Lily dozed post-sugar crash. He leaned against the dresser, arms crossed defensive. About last night?
Luce.
That was intense. But we can salvage. Salvage? I laughed, sharp as shattered glass. Like you salvaged me after the plea? I saw the tape.
Tom.
Nodding along while your mom called me weak. His face drained, then flushed. Clara. Damn her.
No denial.
Just deflection. It wasn't like that. I was scared. 24. In over my head. Dad said it'd blow over. Blow over. The words hung. Absurd. I paced the threadbare carpet. Motel art of lighthouses mocking our drift. I lost my career. My name. For your sister's screw-up.
And you?
You climbed, while I scraped. The trip was the cherry. Tom, excluding me like I'm the help. He reached for me, but I sidestepped. The bourbon's ghost still bitter. I loved you. Still do. Maybe. But love's not blinders. He sank to the bed, head in hands. What now? Divorce? Run. The vulnerability cracked something in me. The boy from the bar. Before the Harlan polish. Lily stirred, mumbling Mommy Glacier, and reality intruded. We keep driving, I said. Lily deserves normal. But the Harlans? They get what's coming. No more falls on my watch. The road unspooled west. Interstates bleeding into each other under a sky clearing to indifferent blue. We hit Ohio by noon. Cornfields whispering secrets. Pit stops at diners where waitresses called me Han and refilled Tom's coffee without asking. Lily chattered about whales from the cruise. Oblivious. Her joy a bomb. But tension simmered. Tom's silence is longer. My grip on the wheel white-knuckled. News radio crackled updates. Becca resigning, amicably. Richard stock dipping. Evelyn's gala cancelled amid personal matters. Each bulletin a vindication. But hollow. Revenge. I'd learned. Echoes. Clara called that evening. As we crossed Indiana. Her voice tinny over Bluetooth. You get my gift. Tom's jaw tightened. He'd clocked the envelope. Yeah, I said. Why now? After all this time. Laughter. Dry as dust. Time's the enemy.
Girl.
I'm 68. Lungs like Swiss cheese from these smokes. Watched Evelyn play Queen too long. That 82 business? She pinned it on me first, said I seduced Richard despite her. Lost my teaching job. My fiancé. Took the fall. Like you. Harlan's collect grudges like stamps. The revelation landed soft. Another layer peeled. So we're both suckers.
Nah.
Survivors. Use the drive, expose if you want. Or leverage. Evelyn's got a safety deposit box in Buffalo. Keys in the dash.
Click.
Tom exploded. That witch. Dragging you into her vendetta? But his anger rang false. Laced with fear. Or yours, I shot back. The nod.
Tom.
Own it. Night fell in Illinois. Motels blurring into neon sameness. Lily asleep. We really talked for the first time since the study. He admitted the doubts. The guilt that fueled his affairs, too. Quick and regretful. With interns who'd ghosted him. I confessed the fantasies. Poison in the Pinot. Brakes cut on the shuttle. We're toxic, he said. But held me anyway. Skin on skin, in the dark. A fragile truce. Dawn brought decisions. The dash key glinted. Temptation incarnate. We detoured north to Buffalo. The city a Rust Belt ghost under gray skies. Wind off the lake whipping like accusations. The bank was marble and menace. Teller eyeing my ID like contraband. Box 472, ledgers. Deeds. A velvet pouch of pearls, Evelyn's legacy. And letters. Bundled with ribbon, Richard's love notes to a woman not his wife. Dated post-82. Proof the empire was built on sand. I pocketed a letter. Left the rest. Leverage, Clara had said. Back on the road. Tom's silent. Lily drawing families with extra hands clinging.
Perhaps.
My burner pinged. Anonymous email from Becca. Please stop. It's destroying us all.
Meet me?
Chicago. Tomorrow. Trap or olive branch. The split widened. Forgive and fracture. Or fight and fall. Chicago loomed. Skyline a jagged promise. We checked into a high-rise off Michigan Avenue. Tourist trap with views that mocked our mess. Lily thrilled at the bean. Her reflections warping like truths. Becca arrived at dusk. Power suit rumpled. Eyes red-rimmed sans makeup. Coffee in the lobby. Neutral ground amid holiday shoppers hustling for deals. You're a monster, she started. Voice low venom. Dad's having a heart scare. Mom's popping Xanax like candy. All because you couldn't let it go. I sipped latte. Steam curling. Let what go? The job you stole? The family that branded me thief. Tom sat beside,
Médiator pause.
but his knee bounced nerves. Becca leaned in, lawyer mode. It was a mistake. We protected you. Probation over prison.
Lie. Thin as mist.
Protected? You used me. Her mask slipped. Tears genuine? I was scared.
Luce.
25. Drowning.
Now.
I've got a kid on the way, not the boss's. This ends everything. The bomb. Pregnancy. Complication. Tom's hand found mine. Squeeze conflicted. Pity warred with principle, her fall mirroring mine. But earned? What do you want? I asked. Retract the emails. Silence. In return, I'll confess. The real embezzlement. Clear your name. The offer hung. Controversial calculus. Her ruin for my redemption. Tom's whisper, she's family. But Clara's voice countered, spite's eternal. Lily wandered over, clutching a snow globe from the gift shop, shaking it to watch the flakes fall. Chaos in miniature. I nodded. Confess. And we're square. But as she left, relief masking resolve, I texted Clara the pearls photo. Leverage secured. Becca's confession would free me. But the box's secrets? They'd ensure the Harlans paid in full, slow bleed. Not guillotine. That night, Chicago lights glittered like distant fires. Tom and I made love. Urgent and uncertain. Bodies remembering what minds forgot. Lily dreamed of snow. Oblivious. But in the quiet, I wondered, was mercy the twist? Or just delay? The road ahead forked, absolution or annihilation, and America, vast and unforgiving, waited to judge. The confessional played out in a sterile conference room off Wacker Drive. Fluorescent hum underscoring the absurdity, like a deposition for the damned. Becca arrived early, flanked by a junior associate who fidgeted with a recorder. Her witness to the self-immolation. Tom and I sat opposite. Lily mercifully parked with a sitter at the hotel. Her world still cartoons and cuddles. Me? I clutched the burner, thumb hovering over send. The pearls photo cued to Richard's board if she balked. She didn't. Voice steady. Eyes locked on mine. Becca unspooled the truth. Dates. Amounts. The developer's name whispered like a curse. I forged the docs, she said. Tape rolling. Lucy took heat for a fraction, misdemeanor to shield the felony. My idea. Dad's execution. The associate paled, but nodded. This was her ticket out. 2. Distancing from the taint. Tom's face was granite. Knuckles white on the table. Betrayals echo. His nod from the tape mirrored in her gaze. When it wrapped, Becca sagged. Makeup smudged like war paint. Email the retractions. Please. I did. From a VPN cafe down the block, anonymous polls from the gossip sites. A press release to the local wires. Misreported embezzlement. Nurse Lucy Harlan fully exonerated. By evening, hit spiked. My name cleared. Probation records sealed retro. Vindication tasted like weak tea, bitter. Lukewarm. But closure? That was the lie. Tom's phone erupted post-meal. Evelyn's voicemail's a barrage. Betrayed by my own blood. Come home. Thomas. Fix your father's mess. Richard's follow-up. Slurred. Heart's fine. But the board. They're circling. Becca fielded her own fallout. Firm suspension notice. The baby's father ghosting via text. She crashed at our hotel that night. bunking with Lily in a rollaway. The four of us a parody of family under one roof. Morning brought the drive's pivot, south to St. Louis, gateway to whatever. Clara's last gift burned in my pocket, the 82 letter. Evelyn's handwriting confessing the affair, pleading with Richard for forgiveness. I strayed once. For love lost. Raise him as yours. Tom read it in the van's passenger seat, mile markers ticking like a bomb. Does this change anything? He asked, voice raw. Changes everything, I replied, eyes on the road. Or nothing. You're still you, nod or no nod. He crumpled it, tossed out the window into the median, a flutter of white against green. I choose us now. Divorce them. Start clean. Lily cheered from the back. Oblivious anthem, clean like bath time, St. Louis welcomed with arch gleam and gateway blues. A city of reinvention that fit our fracture. We holed up in a Airbnb row house. Creaky charm masking cracks. While I job hunted, remote billing gigs panning out. License reinstatement pending. Tom cold called recruiters, ditching Harlan and Sons for ethical consulting. Becca flew back east. Promise of confession filed. But text trickled. Ultrasound good. Thanks, sis. Tentative bridge. The gray crept in weeks later, as leaves turned fire orange along the Mississippi. My burner died, final ping from Clara, box emptied. Enjoy the view. I pictured her in Elmwood, toasting with gin, the mansion's queen dethroned. But peace? Elusive. Nightmares of the study. Flames from the fire pit morphing to fjords swallowing Lily. Tom's touches turned obligatory, our truce fraying at edges. The climax brewed slow. A pot left too long, Richard summons. Couriered to our P.O. box. Family meeting. NYC.
Urgent.
Evelyn's P.S. for Lily's sake. Tom wanted to ghost, but I saw the hook, the final lurch, where sides blurred eternal.
Go, I said. Take her.
I'll follow. Alone time. To breathe or break. They left at dawn, arch silhouetted against pink sky. I drove solo to Hannibal, Mark Twain's haunt. Irony thick as humidity, wandering whitewashed streets where boys dreamed big. In a riverside cafe, over gumbo that burned tongue and temper, I penned the last letter. To Evelyn. Direct.
No añón bal.
You called me weak. But weakness is burying truth for comfort. Here's yours, 82. The box. The nods. Lily's safe. We're free. Stay buried. Mailed it from the post office. Twain's mustache winking approval. Back on I-55. Radio crooned Springsteen, Thunder Road. Escape anthem. NYC loomed 2 days out. Traffic snarls and skyline bite. Tom texted updates. At the hotel.
Tense. Then.
The call, his voice edged panic. Luce. Get here. Dad's confessing. Everything. The plaza's opulence mocked us. Crystal chandeliers over Viper's Nest. Richard in the suite. Hooked to a portable oxygen. Face gaunt as forgotten fruit. Evelyn paced. Pearls absent. Hair a bird's nest.
Bekanurse ta kinser alle.
Bump just showing under silk. Clara in the corner. Cigarette unlit. Spectator supreme. Lily played with blocks on the rug, building towers that toppled like empires. Richard waved me in. Voice wheeze. Sit. Lucy. Time to end it. No preamble, he spilled. The 82 revenge. Marrying Evelyn to spite her fling. Raising Tom as pawn. Becca's scam? His green light. Testing her mettle like he'd tested me. Harlan's forge and fire, he rasped. You endured. Strongest yet. Evelyn snarled. Lies. She destroyed us. But her eyes darted to the letter on the table. Arrived that morning. Tom stood. Bridge between. No more tests. I'm out. With Lucy. Becca nodded. Hand on belly. Me too. New firm. New life. Clara chuckled. Prodigal return? Or rats fleeing? The room fractured, accusations flying. Tears salting wounds. Lily toddled to me. Blocks clutched. Build. Mommy? Her innocence the pivot. Forcing the split. Forgive the forge. Or shatter the anvil. Richard extended a check. 6 figures. Reparations. I tore it. Confetti of cash. Keep your forge. We melt our own. Evelyn lunged. Nails raking air. But Clara intercepted. Enough.
Eve.
You broke first. The matriarch crumpled. Sobs real for once, vulnerable. Human. We left at midnight. Cab to Penn Station. Lily asleep on Tom's shoulder. The twist landed soft. No thunder. Richard's will. Emailed post-meeting. Lily's sole heir to a trust. For the strong one. Controversy incarnate. Blood money or birthright. Becca's text followed. Confession filed. You're clear. OU. The train rattled west. Amtrak's cradle to dreams deferred. Tom held my hand. Scars mapped in silence. Happy, he asked. City lights fading. I watched Lily. Blocks in lap. Building anew. Debated, I said. But ours. California called. San Diego sun. Nursing school redux. Tom's consulting gig. We bought a bungalow with salt air and no fences. Lily's school plays over fjord cruises. The Harlans faded. Richard's obit 6 months on. Peaceful. Evelyn's retreat to Florida condos. Becca's baby girl with my middle name. Clara visited once. Gin in hand. Spite one. Or did it? Ending? Pick your side. I sleep sound now. Revenges echo faint. But in quiet moments, I wonder, did I avenge the fall? Or just pass the torch? America doesn't do tidy, it's gray roads. Contested claims. Families forged and fractured. Lily builds taller towers. Untoppled. That's the hook. The debate. Was it justice? Or just another American dream? Cracked but clinging?